Hello. Hi Toki, hi Amisha, hi Trudy, hi DBDSAR, hi Lise, hi Kelly, hi Tsukabu, hey Abel, and Heather, woo! The cats are still begging for food, so I don't know if they will come in here after. It's a bit messy. Hey, Elena. Hi, Annette. Hey, Mallory. Hi. Hey, travel destination. Hi, Drippy. Hola. Hey, Josephina. Hi. Lots of people today. Nice, nice. Yeah. It's a bit... There's a lot going on, right? It's not a Caturday Livestream if I'm not late and scrambling. Okay. Bunch of stuff going on here. Hey Lee! Hi Zara! Yeah, you can ask something, Abel, of course. As long as it's, you know, not rude or mean or anything. You guys know the drill. Sorry. How do I organize my desk while painting? The very, very short answer would be poorly. You've seen me paint. I don't paint really, really big. So I will usually, let's say, I will have like my paper here and the rag and the water, and depending on the size of the palette, it's just gonna be here to the side. Hold on, let me recalibrate this a bit. There you go. So yeah, it's not that big, but everything I need fits in there. Hey Otto, hi. So yeah, that's basically what that's why I don't often use my super big palettes, because where am I supposed to put them? I'm always trying to find ways to recover some of the space on my table. But yeah, you can see that I don't succeed that often. Hey, apricot. Organized chaos, yeah. But it's like there's always 20 things going on all at the same time, so that's why my desk is always kind of a mess. Like I switched out some paints from my 24 color set, the one I use the most. I took stock of which color I used and which color I wish I could. Aw, Heather! Thank you so much! I will grab them when they are done eating, because for as long as they are expecting food, it will be impossible to do anything with the cats. Thank you so much, Heather. That's really, really kind. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I took stock of which color I would like to use and which color I didn't use, and switched some around and added some new colors in there. So just finished doing that, so that's why that's on the desk. And then I took out this other set because I wanted to take stock of what's in there, because I'm sort of looking for granulating colors. It's kind of the current obsession, trying to mix granulating colors with staining colors and have beautiful two-tone colors. Then I tried doing a bit of painting on toned paper, so I have gouache, and then I had this around. So there's always something like that's the tiny palette. So there's that, and then I have a bunch of paints up here. I have manganese blue hues, because I took those out of the bin for a video, but I haven't gotten around to the video yet. This is Da Vinci's manganese blue as well, and then violet iron oxide from Da Vinci that I've yet to try, and the old paints from last time that you guys possibly remember. And I also have the Van Gogh dusk colors. So there's always like 20 million things going on my desk. What's the best watercolor you can take when you want to travel? I think this is gonna sound pretty dismissive, but that's not my point. But the best watercolor you can take with you is the one you're gonna use. So it's not exactly worth it to set up a travel kit if you end up not using it. So think about what you like to use. Some people just take pans, put a magnet, and they put them in a tin. If you like that, that's fine. If you want to buy a specific set for traveling, that's something that can work too. My favorite one for traveling is the really tiny De La Rani one. But I mean, it's my favorite because I have it. You know, if I didn't have this one, I would take another set. But it's just super tiny, and it's sturdy, and it has colors I know I will use in there. So that's why I usually take this one. Where do you That's a good start. Where do you usually buy your paints sketchbook? Travel destination. I think you're in Montreal too. Am I right? Or at least Canada. Hey Patricia, hi! Unironically are the bee's knees. I love it. I got it from the Kickstarter one because I was so excited to get it, and this is the colors in there. It's all Holbein, and it's a really fun palette to use just for quick sketches. And I've been trying to use it a bit more, just to get used to the idea of having like really small wells and how fast they get used up and that kind of stuff. But I really love it. It's really nice. It's ceramic, so. But yeah, as far as paper, I usually buy my Arches pad from a local shop because they often have them on sale for like $14. And paints, it really depends. I think anyone who sort of doesn't have a job that relates to painting, like I might do, like take whatever you have that's good, accessible, and affordable at your local shops. That would be my advice. Of course, you can order from Jackson's, you can try different things, but ultimately, like if you don't have any specific preference... Oh, wait? Okay, hold on. I think a cat wants to... Oh, good grief. C'est qui? C'est qui? Hello! Salut, toi! Viens me voir, mademoiselle. Non, je veux pas. Non. Arrête, Péco. Salut, grosse tanotte. Salut, gros poupou. Bo. Salut, Péco. Non, faut pas que tu boives mon eau, s'il te plaît. Allô, Péco. Salut Minette. Hey, salut Scout. Both cats. She's purring so loud, hold on. Here. No, not there. Put in here. She's inspecting my desk, I guess. Scooty! Yeah, that's Peko in a nutshell. No. Alright. Purr. It doesn't show super well on camera, but she's a really nice caramelly orange color. You know how if you take Linus, his fur is a bit more cream, a bit lighter, but Peko has a really caramel-like orange color. Aww. Hey, baby. Wait. She's been acting a bit weird lately. She was acting as if she was afraid of us. For no reason. Nothing happened. But whenever we would come near her, she would look at us with big eyes and try to run away from us with her tail low. And we're like, what? Okay. She's a bit like that, Peko. I think she creates her own story in her head, and we don't get them, so sometimes she has some odd behaviors and we're like, okay. Yeah, sure. But she was super excited for food anyway, and of course we would have checked if she was feeling bad or ill. But she was eating and pooping, so that's always a good sign. Hey, Minette. Si t'as vu? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Allô? Salut, Scott! Qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour toi, bébé chat? Tu vas aller sur ma chaise, hein? Non, mais pas la lampe. Scooty. Yeah, Peko is more of a red, like, bruiser. Mais non, mais arrête ça! T'es bétonnante! Si tu veux. Hold on. We got her as a baby. She was 2 months old, 8 weeks. Non mais arrête. Ouais. What are you gonna do? What are you two gonna do? Pas de bataille, hein? Non, Scooty. We got them at the same age. They're sisters. Sisters who hate each other, of course, but sisters. Allô, mais non, Pico, va-t'en pas. Va-t'en pas. Faut que tu résistes, faut que tu fasses pas contre ta sœur. And they don't like each other. They hate each other. That's why Peko is like, okay, I'm gone. Bye. Toi, t'es la pire. T'es la pire. Allez. Un peu sous la caméra au moins, t'as être là. Une grosse boulette. Nope. All right. Oh, perhaps that's what happened. Hey San, by the way. San says, oh, my cat sometimes goes into random anxiety mode. Flees from us for no reason. But if you take time to pet her, give attention, she always calms down again. Hi Brenda, hey. Yeah, she's bald ears, bald eyes. Allergies are bad. Hey, hey Poulette. Hey Adam, hi. I'm sorry for all the Peko lovers looking at you, Otto. That Scout chased Peko away. I have no idea what I'll be painting today, to be honest. Is that new? Not much. That's pretty much how it is every time. Non, c'est bon? C'est fini? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Où tu vas? C'est quoi ton plan? Bye! The cats saw themselves out. Okay, so I'm gonna be trying to readjust the camera. Sorry about that. Can I get this to make sense? Yeah, alright. I think the cats want to fight. I think that's the thing that's going. Oh yeah, they're gonna fight. But that's not me. Go, Pico. Qu'est-ce que t'essaies de faire, Scoop? Non, non. Laisse ta soeur tranquille, toi. Allez. Allez, allez. Allez, bébé chien. C'est bon? T'as tout fait tomber, Scout. Tellement de poêles partout, wesh. I'm gonna go grab something to drink, just like water or something, just before I sit down for real, because I know I'm gonna need it later, so I'll be right back. Right. It's not paint water yet, so I guess I could possibly drink it, but Hello, Diane. Are we? Sorry, I was listening to Scout being crazy. I think she's having one of those pre-litter box zoomies thing going on. Where do you live, Adam? Just to get a bit of a clue about the weather. Like if it's humid or hot. I've never really had paints mold on me, so I'm saying that, but I have 6 jars over there. I really hope they don't start molding just to spite me. Pollen, huh? That's surprising. No, I've never done a sequel to the Pico and Scout mulling illustration. Fingers are so dry. Hey, Phoebe, hi. Yeah, that's the thing that the only time I've had mold grow on paint was when I tried to keep gouache wet. But I can keep. I'm so gonna jinx myself. I hate hate being this superstitious about that nonsense. But Scott, qu'est-ce qui se passe? But yeah, I don't really run into issues with my paints and jars. That's the thing I don't like about messing with these, is all the dried paint flecks. I think honey is better for fighting off mold. You might see something this slightly different color on top, but that's a dry piece of paint that fell into the tub when I opened it. Some of these, like this one and this one, I've had the paint in those jars for like at least 4 months. Hey Lila, hi. Yeah, try with honey, Adam. Also used honey. Did you disinfect the jars before putting you? Dry paint everywhere. They separate, of course, the pigment sort of settles at the bottom, but I can steer them with any kind of tool and it's good again. Hey Steven, hi! Whoa, that's unusual though. That's curious. Oh, I think I know why it's like that. It's because I added honey on top of it last time and didn't stir. I was like, why is it dark on top? And my honey at the moment is kind of dark. So I think that's, yeah, that's just what's going on here. Because it doesn't smell, it smells like nothing. It smells a bit of honey. When something is moldy, mildewed, it smells of mold. But yeah, that was just me. Put some honey in there and forgot to stir. Have you ever used gouache? Yes, a bit. A bit. Oops. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really know what to say about moldy paints. It's definitely, you know how mold happen is there is some contamination and then it's in a space, it's in a milieu that encourages bacteria growth. So it's humid, it's there's no airflow, which is basically like a closed jar. Yeah, that was the Spanish gold ochre. No, it's not better than watercolor. Gouache is different. It's a bit like comparing apples and peaches. Both grow in orchards, but they're not the same. Orchards? Oh, Spanish gold ochre. I think I've shown these before. I wouldn't say that gouache is like if acrylic and watercolor had a baby. Gouache has nothing in common with acrylic, except perhaps pigment. Hey Lee! Long time no see. How are you? I hope you're good. Okay, so this is gonna be some subpar paper for sketching. For swatching, hold on. It's really not my favorite, but should do the trick. This will also allow me to see how these are coping up with time. This is Mayan green. This is Vulcan Squid. It's basically kind of like a green earth color. It's the one that gave me a lot of grief, but I think I found a way to make it a bit more fun to use. It is, however, a super light color. Just like gouache is more opaque like acrylic. But the thing is acrylic is not opaque. And you cannot layer gouache more because it reactivates the under layer of it. Oh, did I miss something? Doop, doop, doop. Yeah, the thing is gouache is its own thing. It's really not like acrylic in any way. It's like gouache is if you take watercolor paint and make them more opaque and matte. Acrylic, you have very transparent acrylic colors, so it's really not the same thing. And acrylic is permanent. You can layer acrylic easily, but you cannot layer gouache easily. It's harder to layer gouache than it is to layer watercolor. Because you look at gouache and it reactivates. It's like, hey, ho, hey, hi guys. Do you need me again? I'm ready to go. And you're like, no, stay put. Oh, wow. Ooh, loving this one. Man, I need to make myself a bigger pan of this one, I think. That's the thing. It's not exactly distinct, but in my opinion, gouache and watercolor have a lot of stuff in common, and they are very different from acrylic, oil, and the other colors. And the thing is that you have gouaches that will be fairly transparent. Like the transparent pigments like phthalo, the quinacridones in gouache, they're not opaque. They would be the equivalent of a semi-opaque color in watercolor, possibly. It's really not that opaque. And in watercolor, you have some pigments that are naturally more opaque, because that's just the way the pigment is, like chromium oxide green and what else? All the cobalts, the cadmiums, they're like a bit more opaque. So yeah, I guess I got a selection of pans at the moment with 3 that are a bit more opaque and really, really more strong, and 3 that are more transparent and also weaker. And this is Pentalic sketchbook, so it's not a good paper for showing how the paint spreads. I'm trying to use this one up for swatching stuff and keep like what's the word I'm looking for? Have a reference for swatches. Like say I do a mixed color that I really like, I can write what it is in this and reference it later. But like it's all together in the same book, so it's easier for me to reference, but it doesn't make for really nice paint application. I'm glad you like the Spanish gold ochre, at least. It's not gonna be, like, not to boost sales or anything, but I don't think my pans are that expensive. I can save you one, and I think it's gonna be, I don't know, $7, $8. Any idea for good red light fast gouache? I'm thinking. I'm really loving this Mars Violet color, to be honest. This is nice. And the Spanish gold ochre is a good old fave. I'm trying to think red gouache. Well, any kind of staining pigment. If you find a staining light fast pigment and you find it in gouache, then it should be. But it's not gonna be very, very opaque, technically. Or perhaps unless you go for cadmiums. I will put one aside for you. Oh, it's nice to see you again, Lee. I hope things are well. This is Mars Orange and this is Mars Violet, so I've been swatching. This is the Roman small paints as I've been swatching because I kind of put them all together. Their Mars Black is really nice. But for the rest, it's kind of hard to see because I don't really think this paper does justice to a paint's qualities. Anyway. I'm rambling a lot. Oh, hold on. There. And cutie, little kitty. Hi, that's me. And that's Echo. Oop. There you go. Well, you have to thank her because she doesn't always want to sit in here. I'm glad you're going good, Lee. We are doing fine. Oh, yeah, we have a lot of snow, but it's like some days it's like between -5 and 5, and some days it's like -20. The Spanish Gold Ochre and Mars Violet are not on my website yet because the pans are not finished. I still need to pour paint to fill up the pans. In terms of gouache, yeah, I think you should go for Schmincke's. Schmincke kind of has a weird gouache selection. I don't think they have any... I don't think they have like yellow ochre gouache for some reason. I think they have like a titanium gold color, but there's no yellow ochre. And I was like, what? But, like their range for gouache is kind of limited. And, yeah. I'm glad. Sun says that they took over the trick to ink with ballpoint pens for practice watercolor sketches and are loving it so far. Now I kind of want to hunt down the interwebs and search for brown and maroon ballpoint pens. We are down to just the snowplow hills. The snow cover has gone in Waterloo. Well, that's awesome. It's been snowing here today, so... yeah. Not a big fan of that. Sketching with ballpoint pens is really, really fun. Heather says, with the tour guide voice, if you look to your left, you will see a beautiful crimsicle specimen called a cat loaf, for obvious reasons. The blue swatch, there was not any blue swatch. It was like bluish green, and it was Mayan green. I don't think this camera does a really good job with the color, but it was kind of a bluish green. I kind of want to try the Schmincke Ultramarine Blue Gouache now. I was, some time ago I was talking with one of my friends who used to do painting as a job, like in the world of cartoon animation, back when all the backgrounds were hand painted. And she said that they would often use gouache with watercolor inks. Thing is that for that kind of work you don't need something that will last forever, because they're gonna photograph or scan in the background and it's gonna go in a bin somewhere, and it's gonna be either tucked away or just tossed in the garbage. And yeah, she would use like diluted gouache if you need something more transparent. And also you can mix it with the I think they use the Radiant, the P.H. Martin's watercolor inks or something. You can find Schmincke gouache on Jackson's website. Yeah, that's it. Elena has the actual info. That Schmincke has yellow ochre in designer's gouache, but not in Horodam. And I was like, wait, what? How come you don't have one of the most, like, ubiquitous colors ever? It's in everything. It's everywhere. Pico doesn't have any paws at the moment. Well, you know what, Heather? Pico does the faceplant thing when she's falling asleep in that position. I don't think she's falling asleep yet, but I really often catch her like on the bed and she has face planted in loaf position. And it really makes me laugh. Especially like sometimes if I poke her, she will go like, "Boo!" and be like, wait, what? Oh, okay, that's you. Yeah, maybe they decided to be rebels about that, though. I'm kind of bummed because, truly, I think yellow ochre is one of the colors I use the most. So, hold on, let me look at my new color selection. Perhaps there will be something to inspire me in there. I've switched things around a bit. That's the new range I have in my 24/26 color set. And that was the previous range I had in there. Oh, that's all on camera. No, it's not. No, it's not. There you go, somewhat. So I added these 4 colors in, and I removed 4 colors that I didn't use. I also added the Queen Gold. Yeah, the wake up chirp. We call it the cat activation noise. Humanity's first paints were the ochre. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's something, I don't know why, but there's something really appealing to me when I find a good, either a yellow ochre, a good sienna, or a good umber. Like these, I don't think I'm mistaken. Yeah. The ochre, siennas, and umber, when I find a good one, I feel so satisfied. Like, I'm like, this is the basic stuff. And you can't go wrong with that. Also, like I said many times, I was really bothered that the Schmincke's Burnt Sienna is a PR 101 and a black pigment. Not that it's anything bad, but, I mean, the PBR 7 pigment is so easy to find and all of that. So I was really bothered with it. And I found that their burnt umber is PBR 7. So I'm adding this to my palette and see if I can get a nicer neutral gray with the Ultramarine Finest. What do you call it when you are going to painting something to order but not getting paid? Is it still a commission? It could be gift art. It depends for which purpose and for who you do it, I think. Like if it's called they're taking the piss. Not wrong, not wrong. But there are certain situations in which you can find yourself painting a thing for free for someone you know. Yeah, like it's a gift, it's gift art. But if it's something that you would technically offer as commission, and you need that in your portfolio just as an example of the work you do, I would call it a commission. Like it's an example of what you would do if you were commissioned to paint. So yeah, that's just for the sake of portfolio reference. But yeah, in any other case, if someone wants to pay you in exposure or in some other obscure way for a commission, it's best to say no. There's a quote that goes around a lot, and it says, people die from exposure. They mean like exposure to the weather, but it kind of applies. Like you cannot put food on the table with exposure. That's not something that, you know... Hey, who was taking bets about how long it would take for Peko to start washing herself? The thing with gift art is the way I see it, unless it's like I've done a couple of pieces of gift art, and I'm kind of glad because yeah, for me that's not something I have to spend extra money to do, so I'm like, yes, I can use whatever I have and do it. More often than not though, I will paint something I want to paint, and then I might give away that painting. That's kind of different, because when I paint the thing I want to paint, I am not like caught in the feedback and the conditions of someone else's, you know. Holy cow, 50 viewers, wow! Hi everyone, nice! Aw, she's a donut now. Oh, time for a nap. Well, I'm glad that there's more people. As long as they sort of enjoy the what's happening. Other YouTuber in the chat will understand when I say this, but sometimes you get really weird comments. I got one recently and I was like, wait, but like people will be commenting on the kind of videos you do, and they're like, oh, why did you make a video about this? Why did you make a video about that? And I'm like, well, you know, no one is twisting your arm into watching the videos. If you don't like it, by all means, go watch anything else. I'm perfectly good with that. Not a problem. I'm not even angry. I mean, YouTube is vast and beautiful, so if you don't like my paint reviews, then go watch what Otto does with her pigment and paint studies, or go watch what Denise does with her animal paintings. And you know, there's a bit of everything for everyone out there. It just always baffles me that people take the time to write those comments, because I don't know, but personally, when I'm watching something and I'm getting bored of it, I don't keep on watching and I don't comment. I just click away. So I'm like, what? Okay, fine. Hey Alexandra, hi. Otto says, boy do I understand. How dare you not making your channel to exactly what I want. Yeah, that's kind of the mindset that comes with those comments. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, if there was only like my channel and I'm definitely not covering everything, perhaps I could sort of give those comments a bit of a weight, but as it is, it's really like just a bit unnerving. If you hear some weird rumbling noise, that's the snowplows outside. Oh, Pickle. It's okay. She really doesn't like big trucks. I'm like, I didn't even know you existed until 2 seconds ago. Yeah. And some of these people are really funny because they will comment many times. And I'm always like, well, I'm gonna block you because what? Why are you losing your time and my time doing that? That's so silly. That's exactly my mindset, honestly. Joy says, if you want something made, make it yourself. Else you're another do-nothing critic. That's kind of the thing, like, it's easy to complain. It's really easy to complain, actually. And I'm like, okay, it's your decision to complain, fine, but it's like the rude way of going at it is like if someone comments on a drawing or a way someone is painting is to say, well, do you paint any better? Like, why should I give weight to what you're saying? But that's not something I find that has meaning in all situations, because sometimes it's tricky, but I'm like, why? Like, if you complain so much, why not use that time to make something out of what bothers you? With Ev's Canadian standard issue diplomacy, I know she knows when someone is being helpful. Yeah, there's a really different between trying to be helpful and being a pain in the butt. Oh, thank you so much, Barbie. Barbie says well, that was to Dr. Otokano, but I agree. I also love listening to Otto's video because her voice is really, really nice and smooth. And I'm always like, always makes me feel really calm and good inside. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Otto gets complaints about her voice, and I'm like, maybe some people need to check their sound system. Because what? Tobias says, hey, Tobias, by the way, hi. I hate the phrase, oh, you should paint fill in the blank. I mean, maybe you should paint it then. That's very true. Otto says, honestly, if you put yourself out there, people will find things to complain about you. I've heard everything and I get new variations all the time. I've seen some of those comments and really baffles me because I'm like, are you guys watching the same videos from Otto that I am? Because where did you find that conclusion? If you had a music... The thing is Stephen says, if you had a music instruction site, you would get a million requests for how to play this or that. I don't see how that is rude. It's just in the way the message is made often. And also it's a bit like if someone is offering guitar, how do you say that word? If someone is offering violin lessons, and someone chimes in the comment and says, oh, you should make drum lessons. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person who makes the violin lessons is comfortable or able to give drum lessons. That's the thing, like they decided to put out videos about how to learn violin because that's what they know and that's what they feel comfortable teaching about. So yeah, it's a bit in the assumption that the people who comment that kind of stuff have a lot of assumptions that they really take out of their butts. And that's the part that's really tiring after a while, because you're like, the videos I make are what I do. They're there. It's fairly easy to see. So if what you see is what you get, and if you don't like what you're getting, then that's not my responsibility. That's for you to switch. Well, yes, those people are being rude. Yeah, that's the thing, but sometimes people will leave comments of stuff like, and I take mental note and I try to address it later if I can, but there are things that I don't know how to address, and that's why I don't make videos about it. Like you can say to someone, hey, do you think you could make a video on this topic? It would be really interesting and helpful, and I would love to see it. That's a really nice way to ask for something. But if you say, oh, that video was terrible, why didn't you make one about this instead? Oh no! Tobias says, my mom legit gave a painting I loved away without asking because someone really, really loved it. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Hey, Mark! Oh, hi, Mark! I think you should do more videos on kumquats. I've never eaten a kumquat, actually. They are delicious and healthy. I think they're quite cute, too. Aren't they like this orange and small and cute? Eric, also, can you make oilless and watercolors for kids? Yeah, sometimes that happens. I want squash vids and also something on tennis. This is gonna be a fun tangent, I think. I wonder, like, for someone like Lindsay, the frugal crafter, she has to have seen some pretty oddball comments. Because her reach is quite big, so the more people you reach, the more chances of getting some weird returns. I think that sometimes people write stuff that loses a lot of context because it's written. Like the person who made the the essay that Otto is talking about when she says, I once got an essay on how someone feels molested by Roosevelt ultramarine. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? That's a very valid question. But sometimes I wonder if these people try to be quirky or funny or like peculiar in the way they present their argument, but it's completely lost on the fact that it's written words and internet. Or it could be a troll. Definitely. Oh no. Oh, a gallery show. That sounds dreamy. Oh no, shoot. I have to learn a new signature. Oh, that's good to know, Mark. Yeah, poor Lindsay, she's taken a lot of crap from some viewers. Some people don't really understand the boundaries on the internet as well. Like, they will really be bothering people far beyond what they would do if it was a real contact, you know. I'm glad she's found a way to handle it, because with the scope of her channel, it's gotta be really, really draining to have to deal with weird people often. Oh, have a good nap, Val. Oops, that's out of ink. It's not gonna pan out well. Yeah, I was reading that, Otto, and I was looking at you metaphorically as well. It's just weird. It's so surreal to read some of these comments at times, because you're like, wait, what? What did I just... Hold on, are you seriously... And like, I went through 6 years of technical college, if I can sort of translate it that way, and graphic design and cartoon animation. So I'm fine. I can deal with critic like that. That really doesn't faze me as much anymore. But sometimes it's just so baffling to see what people comment. And you're like, wait, what? Okay then. And yeah, I'm also like Canadian. I don't know if there's something to it, but it takes a lot to faze me, or it doesn't take a lot, but it takes some really specific things. So I'm always like, don't like it, don't watch it. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's a very good question, Heather. Heather says, whatever happened to the childhood lesson? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Yeah, I'm not really bothered. I mean, worst case scenario is something really bothers me, I just delete the comment. Like, it's my channel. I can do whatever I want with it, to a certain degree, of course. Oh, the internet happened. That's a fair point. Yeah, that was a bit surreal. Like when I started making videos, I had to record my own voice, and when it comes time to edit it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my voice. Oh no. And I was like, oh, well, there's really nothing to help it. That is my voice, so hopefully it will go over, you know, fine enough and all of that. I never really had any impression that my voice was I was hoping that it was not annoying, but I had no impression of it aside from that vague hope. So it was really a surprise when I got a couple of comments that said that they enjoyed my voice, and I was like, wait, what? I'm really thankful and grateful that it's not annoying or grating. It was like kind of a relief to be that's a weight off my shoulders. It's bad enough that I have an accent and I have to struggle with English, and well, thank you guys. Mark, that's the kind of the standard process, I think. Mark says, here's my process. 1, read the nasty comment. 2, say, what? 3, start to respond. 4, remember I'm a professional. 5, delete nasty comment forever. I win. Yeah, exactly, Otto. I never had really that kind of comment before on my voice. The only comment I had gotten on my voice before was at one of the place where I worked, where someone was like, oh, I really thought your voice was gonna be more shrill and high than it actually is. And I was like, okay. Good, I guess. Hey, first drawing of 2020. Yeah, that's the weird thing. Heather says, I think there are people who can't grasp the fact that the world does not revolve around them. And I agree, it's really surreal sometimes, because there are people out there who really expect things to be made for them or with them in mind. And it's just not exactly realistic to hope for that. Because there are a lot of humans and we are all different in some ways, so you will never find something that agrees with everyone, you know. Oh, Joy, are you in Australia? Yeah, Patricia, you're right. Oh, jeebus, please, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Oh my gosh. New Zealand, okay. Because things seems, well, this seems, that's not even strong enough as a word, but things are really poopy in Australia at the moment. And I would say another word if I could, but I want to keep this kind of the rating very, very for everyone, very general. But yikes, it is really scary and really sad. Say the thing about Harvard Yard. Is it park the car in the Harvard Yard, I think? Oh, but yeah, I mean, the few footage we see from Australia is I mean, you see videos from places and everything is bright red. It's just insane. It's like because of the smoke and the fires, everything is red. Not reddish, not cloudy, not a faint tint on the horizon. It's bright red. Hey, thank you, Kevin. Mallory says, my mom works at a school. She says parents are not parenting anymore. She stopped giving homework at one point because none of the children ever did it. Whoa. Yeah, it is really, really scary. Like, Australia is not a teeny tiny thing. It is big. I try not to think about it too hard because it's kind of really stressful. You cannot park the car in Harvard Yard. There are 6-foot iron gates and pedestrian only. Yeah, I remember that from when I visited Boston years and years and years ago. The tour guide was like, came out, told us the sentence, and I was like, wait, what? And I don't know why, but I remembered it. I saw a graphic that would show that Australia is about the size of the US, technically. But it's, the scope of the fires is just unbelievable in a bad way. I tend to be one of those people. I really don't mind sharing what I use. I find it really kind of dumb when people don't want to share what brushes, what tools they use, because it's not the tools that make the art, so why do you care if someone else tries the same tools? Like, by being like, I don't want to share my tools, you're sort of implying that the tools make the art, and that's kind of not the point. But anyway, this is, wait. I need to remember the name of these. It's by Sailor. It's a Fude nib pen. It has, you know, the bent nib. Like that. And I have two of them. I usually prefer to use the green one because I think the angle is more steep. So you can get a variation of line that is really interesting between really wide lines and really fine lines if you use the back of the pen. And what I love of these is that they are refillable. I think they come with a converter, so I put platinum carbon ink in there. And so it's waterproof. And they are about $10 for each, you know, about the same price as the platinum carbon pen. But they have a nib that is a bit more interesting to use sometimes. Hey, Amy, hi. I live in Australia and the temperatures here are in the high 40s in Celsius. Oh my gosh. I hope you're safe. Lee Steele and Jane Blundell. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're both in Australia. The only one that came to mind first, personally, was Chris Hemsworth, because Thor. But I mean, anyone who lives there. Giant kangaroo slippers. The bushfires are a normal thing, but this has been the worst summer for it. Yeah, that's kind of what I understood from it. Like, a bit like California and British Columbia. Like, I think some amount of fires, if I can say it that way. I don't know if amount is the right word, but it's expected that there will be some fires. And to a certain extent, some trees need fires to be able to regrow new trees. So there's a part of it that feels kind of natural, but to the extent that we have them right now, even in California, I mean, Australia is really, really, really bad. But even in California, it keeps on getting worse. It doesn't get any better. I agree. Kevin says, I feel this is a huge sign of how dangerous climate change really is. I completely agree. And I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be ignored, sadly. They were saying, what was it, the thing? They were saying that there's only like 5% of koalas left. And I'm like, you kind of have to, like, the same thing is happening with tigers in general. So I'm trying to not dwell on it too much because it gets depressing so fast and it gets really sad and it really makes me sad. And I don't want to be sad that much, you know, it's not a good feeling. And I'm thinking, well, like, the fires are not necessarily something we have control over, so I don't want it to happen, but I don't see it as something we can stop from happening that much. But it's still very, very sad and depressing. I need an eraser. The number of animals they kind of have of animals that have sadly died in the fires is insane. It's like 500,000, something like that. It's like there's a really big gap between the number of animals they are predicting to have died from the fires and the number of humans. In a way, I'm glad, because if it's only like 3 humans that have died from the fire, it could be a lot worse, you know. But the animals is just like an insanely high number. I think it's a good evidence of climate change, because if the fires are bigger than before, it's probably because there's been less rain, or that the temperatures have been higher in general. Yeah, I really don't know how we're gonna pull this off on the long term. Wow, this is a really depressing topic. I'm sorry, we usually don't try to go too much into the depressing stuff in there. I agree, Stephen. In perspective, that maybe does not sound like a lot, but a lot of these animals are unique to Australia, and you cannot exactly replenish the population with whatever is going to be left. It is very pressing, but it's also a very polarized topic. So I don't want to start a debate. I just don't want to start a big argument in the chat. Because my goal is not to create fights. And I'm not turning a blind eye, but I mean, it's just... I don't know if there's more that we can say about it. Hey, Don, hi! Yeah, we've just talked about it. Alright, this is dry. That's what I was waiting for, by the way. I was not just idling about. It is definitely scary. But I mean, many things are scary. This is definitely one of them. Oh, that's a nice word. I'm not gonna try to say it, but I love it. Oh, wow, okay. So Kevin says that the Irish Prime Minister said that climate change is actually a good thing. And everyone was like, what? Yeah, that's a proper reaction. Oh, okay, no problem, Phoebe. No problem. And I agree with you. Mark says there's a lot going on in the world between wildfires, impeachment, and the US attack in the Middle East, which is why artists often find relief in their work. I was thinking about that the other day, and let me know what you guys think, but a part of it, I think, is that I get the impression that a lot of artists are really, in a way, we all have a connection with emotions that is perhaps a bit different, and that whenever there are too many big things, bad things going on, it's a lot of pressure on us, and it's a lot of a weird feeling of not being able to do anything about it and feeling small. And I think it's just kind of so much weight that art come as a way to take a break from that and survive and not just be crushed under the weight of it all. That's just my take on it, though. Mark says being able to create a serene inner space for ourselves can help us manage the conflicting emotion of dealing with world issues. Exactly. Hey, no problem, Phoebe. I totally get it. It's kind of the same feeling when you see something bad happening in another country, like the elections in the US, say. I mean, it affects everyone. It's not because it's the president of only the United States that there's no effect to the whole world, you know. But the only people who can make a decision are Americans. So it's really kind of a moot point for the rest of us to be so nerve-wracked about it, because it's not something we can directly influence. I also think you should try kumquats. They are the funniest named food. I don't know, I think lychee is quite funny too. What are kumquats like? Are they like tiny citruses? Citruses? I could do with a donut right now. I could so do with a donut. Oh my gosh. Didn't someone recently do a poll around Canada asking people about climate change? I read that most people think it's an important issue, but few people are willing to pay taxes to address it. I think part of it is perhaps that we pay a lot of taxes already. I don't know about anything outside of Quebec, but woo-wee, taxes are hardcore around here. We have 15% on all sales, and then there's you know, the yearly taxes thing. So yeah, so I think that people feel a bit bummed about giving yet more money, because I think the general feeling in Canada is, well, in Quebec, is that we give a lot of money already and we don't see a lot of results for it. I don't know if that's true. I don't like politics. I don't follow it. I'm bothered with it. But that's kind of the feeling I get, because a lot of money goes into taxes already. That's a makeup palette that I put gouache in. That's why. So apparently kumquats are like little orange with the lemon twist, and you eat the whole thing peel and all. Ooh. Really? Does it have kind of that bitter orange oil taste in the peel? That's really nice. Kevin says in Ireland, when we go to buy things, the tax is already added to the price shown on the labels. So it's so helpful. Why can't we do that here? Honestly, it's insane. It's the same stupid idea that $9.99 is not $10. Good grief. It's the same thing. Oh, we have a carbon tax now. Ooh, yee. Yeah, companies should be the one who pay a bit more taxes, or, you know, really rich people. they can afford it. Kumquats are also great if you stew them in honey syrup. I'm sorry, what? What? VAT in the UK is 20%. Oh, what? What? Do you get, like, more taxes to pay at the end, beginnings, every year too? Or is like that 20% everything? Oh my gosh, 20%. Well, that sure don't make you want to buy local or buy at all. Oh my gosh. Well, then again, if you pay 20% tax and you get good stuff from it, that's a different story. Like, over here, the feeling is... I'm not saying that this is the proper feeling. I'm not saying it is right. But the feeling is that you pay a lot of taxes and the services you have access to are shrinking. So that's kind of the weird feeling I get from it. But then again, I'm not super versed in those things. So take that with a grain of salt. Hey, good question. Off topic. Mark asks... What... Okay, again, Mark asks, off topic, what was your best holiday art gift this year? That's a good question. I'm thinking. I think I got, in terms of gift that I got gift cards for the local chain of art supply store. So I guess that would be it. What? Guess what? Do you often wish you could speak cat, Heather? Oh, whoa. Wow, you guys got some pretty awesome art gifts. um, There's a few weird exceptions to tax here. All food that is not in a way made to be consumed immediately, you don't pay tax on. Books only have one of the taxes on them. And feminine hygiene thingies don't have any tax on them anymore. Because it was considered an unjust tax. Which I completely agree. You have a tax that affects only half of the population, that's not very fair. And also feminine hygiene products are like so pricey. Yeah, exactly. Feminine products are a necessity, not a luxury. They shouldn't be taxed. I agree, and that whole thing gave us so many weird comments from mostly guys who just don't get it. I remember the guy who was like, well, you should just hold it in, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? What did you just say? They have any Art 2020 resolution? Oh, I don't really do the resolution. Hey, Steve! Hi! I don't have any art resolution, but I have sort of goals. I want to get better at drawing in general, and I want to paint more stuff. But aside from that, not really any real resolution. Steve says, what do you do with your art? Just asking, because if you create, then eventually you have lots of stuff. Not all is worth keeping. The stuff that is not good, either I use it for swatching paper, and when it's completely swatched out, I put it in the recycling bin or the trash, depending. And otherwise, I really don't have an answer. I have a big pile of paintings that I'm thinking I might try to sell some of them. Oh, Heather, that's a really weird / funny way to put it. Oh, the guy who said that was like some random jerk on the internet who was really offended that they would be removing the tax on feminine hygiene products. Because it was like, well, I think he was like, it's just like peeing, and I was, nope, it's not. Oh, that would be so really awesome. I mean, it's really annoying to spend 25% of your time bothered with that, but that's just our lot, I guess. This is a great topic that all the guys are like, yeah, I don't have anything to contribute much. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Yeah, exactly. Good point, Otto. Otto says, what concern is it of his? He never had to buy one before. Oh, I don't know, Stephen. I haven't used a Stay Wet palette. Maybe there's more people because more of us are still on holiday or something. Maybe it's school. Maybe there's really nothing going on. Oh. The gouache becomes less pigment after reactivating it. Not necessarily, but reactivating gouache is not ideal. Gouache usually doesn't dry as well as watercolor does. So there's a thing about it that is maybe tricky. Some gouaches will crack and break, some gouaches will dry really hard. I think gouache is kind of easier to use if you use it straight from the tube, in my opinion anyway. I'll be right back, just a sec. I am sorry about that. I'm back. It was a good time for a bio break. Not that I went to take care of the laundry, but if you had to go to the bathroom, that was a good moment. Oh yeah, it was just laundry thing, as usual. So it's so busy during the week that ultimately we only have Saturday for laundry. Which is also stream day, which is a bit problematic. What are we talking about now? Vitamin C and calcium? Oh, the donut has switched. Switchy donut. Donuts should be a vital nutriment. Is the weather hot, sunny and windy where you're at? Not quite. I was just talking about murdering the points on my brushes. If that happens a lot, perhaps it's worth getting really inexpensive synthetic brushes. I think I got this one from Jackson's and it was really cheap. It's a Jack's Hair. I have another one that I got at the same time. I think they were on sale and they were super cheap too. It's a Cromartie synthetic, but the thing is that I find that synthetic tend to keep a point better. They don't hold water, but they keep a point better, and they are also much cheaper. So even if you ruin it, it's no biggie. You save up a few dollars and you can get a new one. Aw, I'm really sorry about that, Kevin. That's kind of a really silly law, if I can call it that, because I think you could still give bone marrow. And how is that any different from giving blood? I mean, at that point. We really need to get that more commonly accepted. Synthetic round 16 for $1. That's a good grab. It's a huge brush. Whoa. That's really, really a big brush. How was lunch, Phoebe? Kind of hungry. I just ate before stream. I shouldn't be hungry. I realized I had some mineral problem too, perhaps vitamin. It's kind of difficult to eat a really complete diet when you cannot eat certain foods. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't eat all that much in a day, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten anything with like vitamin C in it for 2 weeks, just because it was not what I had on hand, and I don't, you know, eat. I try not to eat that much. Tattoo is the one you're banned on donating. Huh. Who has a tattoo in the chat? I'm curious. Yeah, I knew you did it though. I have 2 small tattoos. They're quite old. Tattoos. I'm sure I told you. I'm pretty sure I told you. There is one of them that I would definitely get inked over, just because it's really old and it's kind of a very 90s, very 90s, like 90s/2000s. 2000, well, you know what I mean. It did not age all that well. It's not awful, but it's not ideal either. And it's small, so it would be easy to cover, you know what I mean. The kinky kumquats riding caterpillar. That would be kind of a really unique tattoo. Oh, I'm glad that works. Patricia, that's awesome. Hey, Marinka, hi. Yeah, it's really fun to draw as a group and hang out. Yeah, well, tattoos, they go all over the place and include all kinds of people, so it's a very varied thing, but the only thing that really bothers me about tattoos in general is that they get fuzzy. And that kind of annoys me. I'm like, darn it. I don't want to have a fuzzy tattoo, but it's sort of unavoidable. If you get a tattoo, it's going to get fuzzy at some point. They fade, that's the thing, especially colors. If you have colors tattooed, they will probably not be light fast. So if you have colors tattooed and you go in the sun a lot, the colors are gonna fade. Just like, you know, non-light fast paints. That's a good idea. Get yourself a tattoo of Sault sprites. Then when they get fuzzy, they'll look even better. No regrets. What? Yeah, a Sault sprite that would cover nicely the one I want to get covered. But I think I'm the kind of person who would get it covered with just a plain black square, or you know, something really basic. Because I'm like, you can't really get tired of having a plain black square tattooed on you. Like I don't know about you guys, but I don't get fed up on shapes. Like I'm like, stupid triangle. I hate you now. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we're about the same age, at least. My first tattoo I wanted to get when I was 16 or so. It did not really pan out, but yeah. I have one the one that I want to get removed, I'm not gonna name because I don't like it. But the other one is related to Radiohead. I don't like what they do now, and I think if I were to get a new tattoo, I would possibly get a Mogwai one. Because I feel like that's long overdue, but I don't hate... Like, the stuff that I love from Radiohead, I still love it, so... That's kind of a... Yeah, I remember at 16, like, I went to my mom and I was like, hey, do you mind if I get a tattoo? She was like, nope. I was like, well, I kind of need a word from you saying you're fine with it. And she wrote me the word and I was like, oh, okay then. It didn't happen then. I think it happened a few years later, but it was just a matter of not having, you know, the timing or the money for it at the time. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Phoebe. Phoebe, I hope you have a great day. Oh no. Oh. Hey, Pico is washing her bum. Do we have a bingo? We should have the Pico bingo when she's on camera and have like washing her bum, donut, loaf, you know, all kinds of stuff that she does. Hey, Ellen. Hi. Hey, Cleo. Hi, guys. We're not quite done yet, so... I should really try to find the cat bingo. I I think that would be hilarious. Like, have enough stuff in there that it generates a card. Some denial that it's 2020. I'm kind of the same. I'm just bothered by the fact that it's 2020, and whenever I hear that said like that, I keep thinking about eyesight. Full butt exposure washing bingo. Toe beans could be part of the bingo as well. Like if you get to see some toe beans. Stretching. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Don. I hope you have fun. Oh no, Heather! Aw. I hope your headache goes away quickly. Headache sucks. I had a really bad tension migraine last night. Because I'm dumb, apparently. And I don't know how to deal with those. But yeah, fun. Hey, Sia, hi. Yeah, I need to... Oh, I think I know why I had it. I wrote a lot of swatch cards yesterday. So, it's quite possible I had too strong a grip on my pen. This is so stupid. I need to get back into working out a bit. I think that would help. It's not fun, but it's helpful at least. Oh my gosh. Working out sucks. Aww. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Mark. Have a great weekend. I hope you can get a week off soon, Ellen. Did I say hi? Hi, Ellen. I know about pressure points. I find a couple that really help. Like I know when I tend to get numb, these two fingers numb, and pain in the over here. It's often a nerve in the back. Oh, I can remove you later, Mallory. It was so you could post a link, I think. But yeah, I know about pressure points a bit, and they've been helpful. But yeah, I think I have. It's a mix of two things, of many things actually. Me not working out, having not the best posture when I'm drawing or painting, and holding on to things way too tight with my hand, my main hand. Crochet, I'm getting better into... Well, the thing is crochet, I can crochet not tight, but I will still hold my crochet super tightly. I'm like, darn it! Okay, weird question, but my mom. Did Kevin, did she get it checked? Should get it checked, if possible. Try holding your hook with just 2 fingers. Won't that make me hold on to it tighter though? I don't know how I hold my crochet. Hold on. It's just here. It's really hard to think about how I hold crochet things without crocheting. It's so like an instinct at this point. Like I don't even think about it. That's how I hold it usually. It's not really super tight. I'm really doing better with that. And also the fact that these have the rubber grip really help. Whenever I try with the just like the regular crochets, I really get cramps. What pressure point do you use for the numb fingers? It's in the back. It's how can I describe this? Hold on, I'm trying to. It's like in the top back between the spine and the shoulder blade. Like you will find the proper point when if you press on it a bit. If it starts being super duper painful, that's probably where it's sort of being crunched together. Sometimes also, if I have the numb fingers, sometimes the pressure point is around here too. Like my elbow is I don't know if you can see my elbow here, but it's just over there. I don't exactly know where they are, but I poke a bit, and if I find a spot that's really, really tender, I know I have to press harder there, and often that helps unclogging like unscrunching the painful thing. I can't really explain it, but if it helps, it helps. So. I will check it out. Although I will check out how I hold the crochet when I'm like more sat down, because just off the top of my head it's really not something that I do like consciously how I hold everything. It just happens. So I will pay more attention next time I sit down to crochet. But yeah. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Kevin. Always remember to wear your seatbelt. Noted. Have a great weekend. Hey, Anna. Hannah, do you prefer Anna or Anna Jane? It's so nice to see you here. Wear your seatbelt. I would if I had a car. Anna's okay. Oh, awesome. How are you? Yeah, this is my first time trying the Jack's Hair synthetic brush. I think it was on sale on Jackson's or something. And it's a really nice fine point. So that's great. Is Evs at the place Beko and Scout get along? The drawing? I'm not quite sure. This would probably end up in a big snowball fight. They really fight like tough. We often find what I call hair chafs when they're done. Like they bite each other so hard that whenever the bite is not released, it's pulled out. And we often find chunks of fur that, you know, it's not fur that has fallen naturally, because it's a bunch of hairs all in the same direction, close together. I don't drive. I don't have my license. I'm that kind of nerd. But yeah, they really fight hard and rough. And Peko will really growl and be unhappy. So I'm not quite sure what to make of their relationship as sisters. They're probably the kind of sisters that just don't get along. And they told us to get 2 cats because they would keep each other company and provide for each other. They don't even wash each other. Whenever one tries to wash the other, it ends up as a fight. Otto says, I've not met a sibling pair cats that get on well. That is good to know. Good to know. Good to know. It's reassuring. Because they really sort of... I mean, I'm absolutely for the idea of getting more than 1 cat at once. Because it's true that usually having 2 cats, they will keep each other company, they will play with each other, and it's a really nice dynamic, and they are not bored if you have to work outside the house. You know, there's a bunch of advantages. But I really did not expect these two to be so at odds with one another. It was a bit better when they were young, like kittens. Oh, this is gonna cauliflower like crazy. Oops. What is water control, guys? What is it? Let's try to fix it up a bit. But like, if you take a cat like Linus, you guys know Linus. He has cat bros, and they get along. Like they play rough a bit, but that's mostly because Linus is still young and he really wants to play. And sometimes the other cats are like, "Oh no, I don't want to play right now." And yeah, you're right. Lee says they still use each other to get some natural instincts and such out. That's true. Like, whenever one is not feeling well, the other one can sort of figure it out or feels it. And there are things like that. Like, they do interact and communicate, but they don't really get along well. That's why I take pictures whenever I find them sleeping together, because that doesn't happen a lot. I'm always like, oh, they are sleeping and they are touching one another a bit. And I take a bunch of pictures because I'm like, and I send them to Mr. E, and he's like, wow, they're sleeping next to the other one. And I'm like, yeah, that's unbelievable. And it's really like nothing. When you see some cats, sometimes they sleep like entwined together. Yeah, these two don't do that. Hey, Holly, hi. I hope I didn't miss anything from the chat. That's a good way to put it. Amisha says Pico and Scout are like an old married couple exploring the thin line between love and hate. My theory is that it's Peko who really cannot stand the other one. Like, her patience with Scout is non-existent. Sometimes Scout will just like walk next to Peko and Peko will go away, super annoyed. It's like, ah, not you. I don't like you. And Scout is kind of like, hey, hi there. Do you want to do like cat stuff? Can I just sit down next to... But sometimes it's the other way around too. Like Peko will just be sitting somewhere and Scout will show up and bite her in the neck. If I had to live with the sister, I would probably do that too. Oh my gosh. Bite her in the neck. Can you imagine, like, Otto's sister going to work and they're like, oh, what happened? You have like a bite mark in your neck. Ah, that's my darn sister. Like, wait, what? The background blue is a hodgepodge of colors. It's, of course, some cobalt teal, some helio turquoise, some cobalt turquoise, and ultramarine and palette mud. I'm sorry, that's not super helpful. It's a lot of cobalt teal though. And it really doesn't dry all that well. Like, it's kind of difficult to... Washes are still something I find really hard to get right. I should possibly practice them more. I think that would probably help. I'm laughing at all the comments about siblings not getting together well, getting along fine in the chat. I love cobalt teal, but I don't love the milky texture of it. Oh, I love it so much. I don't really mind the milky texture because my impression of it is that this look, this effect sort of goes away once the paint is dry. It's milky as a wet wash in the palette, but once the thing dries out, I don't see it as milky anymore, if that makes sense. You know when you roll snow for a snowman and there is not a thick enough layer of snow and you pick up leaves and twigs and mud in your snowman? Yeah, cerulean is a good one too. I'm really loving all the super granulating blue, like cobalt teal, all the cobalt colors, the cerulean. Yeah, that's what I like too. I agree. Amy says, I love how cobalt teal just separates from mixtures. Gives an interesting take to the illustration. I agree, that's why I like it so much. I still have them around. Hold on, let me pick it up. Last time when I was playing with the, I think that was M. Graham, was doing some mixes with separation going on. And that's kind of something that we're all just all really inspired by lately. Like, I know I am, Otto is as well, and more people on the Discord server are super into this effect lately. And a lot of the mixes with cobalt teal, cobalt violet, cobalt blue, cobalt green, they will have this effect of one color separating from the other one. And it's really interesting. Like, I don't know if, I hope this will somehow show on camera, but I think that's like cobalt violet with a phthalo green. I don't remember which one. But it's really interesting because you've got all the purple that is clearly visible as purple around here, and the green that is sort of everywhere else. So if you look at it from afar, like if that was on the wall further away, it would seem like one color. But then you get close to it and it's really different. So I think that's fascinating. That's what I want to play with more. I don't think she's running. You mean this one? Yeah. Well, Pickle, she's a really strong cutie. This one is having a harder time pushing this wall. The granulation rules. It is. It does. I mean, it is what? English. Cerulean plus PV19. Ooh. Yeah, I feel really sad throwing away swatches as well. I often keep, like, I have a bunch of papers, or well, these ones are possibly not super awesome, interesting, but I always have a bunch of swatches around. And then I look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, good mix. And then I just like put them to the side and stumble upon them later. I wanted to try a couple of mixes. As I've mentioned, I've added a couple of granulating colors to my palette, but also a few staining ones. And I haven't had much time to play with them yet, so I wonder, because I know that Schmincke's colors are not the most granulating. Like their mix of pigments are still quite smooth. So they often don't do as well in terms of separation. Do you use a stamp for your swatch cards? I use a stamp. My printer is kind of dead, and also just an inkjet printer, so the ink would reactivate and stains everything. Oh, I also want to try... I'm running out of space in this palette, can you believe it? Come on, you. That's when I was really excited to get. I got, you guys know I had cobalt teal on my palette, but I really wanted to find a way to get a PR 102, PR 101 color in there, like Caput Mortem, because it's one of my favorite grays, and I realized just recently that Schmincke has a kind of a weird Caput Mortem color because it's two pigments. But I thought I would give it a try anyway, just to see if I can sort of make this beautiful gray happen anyway. But yeah, the Schmincke colors are really quite smooth. I think Daniel Smith has more granulating colors. M. Graham has beautiful granulation as well. There we go. That's kind of a more neutral color in there. That's a good thing, Tobias. I'm glad. Yeah, sometimes it's really difficult because whenever you buy art supplies, you see the price tag that comes with them, and you're like, oh my gosh. Like, say a tube of cobalt teal. That's one of the most expensive pigments, regardless of the brand you buy it from. Some brands will have it possibly more affordable, but it really depends on where you live, and you know, like, what's accessible to you, what's available. But the thing is that there's no point to having the thing if you don't use it. Yeah, it's their Indian red that they also call Caput Mortuum. It is PR 101 and something else. Ouch. And PR 206, oddly enough. I'm like, guys, just give us a good old PR 101. Hold on. I want to try the one from Da Vinci. I don't know why. I think it's possibly an old tube, which makes it a bit more exciting. I don't know why. Oh, also, where is it? Check out this thing, guys. It's a thingamajig to open up tubes. You basically, I don't think you can go like to really small tubes, so perhaps for 5 mLs it would be problematic, but for any kind of bigger thingies, and I guess this one is possibly for oil or acrylic, but they have 4 areas. It's like a thing you, like a pince, words are failing me, but basically you find the spot that matches your cap, and you can just unscrew it like that, and you don't have to mess up your fingers doing it. Ta-da! Okay, so let's see. It looked like it was super granulating on. It's super separated. Awesome. On the Da Vinci website. Yeah, the gripper. That's it. That's it. That's from Golden, I think. Yeah. My favorite Caput Mortuum is still Sennelier's. It's the perfect color and granulation and texture and all of that. I really love it. But when I saw the swatch of this, what's it called? Violet Iron Oxide from Da Vinci, I was like, you know what? That looks promising, and it's a Series 1 paint, so it's about $10 for a tube. So it's not, it's not something that you pay too much for. The dryer and the Braga. I'm so sorry it picks up. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. We have, the thingies you put in the washer, so they move with the washer and they help mix up the clothes so they don't end up all bunched together. And it's some porcupines. It's plastic porcupines. So I will definitely have to stir this up. I use my teeth. No, that's not awesome, because you end up messing up the thread on the cap. Like, it becomes harder and harder to hold on to it after. Anna says, I've only just started getting into cobalt blue. Oh, awesome! That's a good door into the world of cobalt colors. trying to mix this one up as best as I can. Yeah, all the cobalt colors are awesome for granulation, and they are super interesting in mixes. If you mix a cobalt color that has good granulation with a staining color, that's when like super interesting stuff happens, because they won't dry the same way on the paper. So if you have a big surface to cover, like a big building wall, a sky, some ground or anything, it's a really nice place to experiment with mixing granulating colors with other stuff. I think so too. Most of the PR 101 colors I've seen, they're never this purpley. They always stay kind of really red. And as far as I can tell, Sennelier and possibly Da Vinci are the only ones that have a single pigment PR 101 that has this specific hue. Oh yeah, white into cobalt blue. I think I made the swatches recently, and I think that's how Holbein does its Verditor blue. It's PB28, so cobalt blue with PW6 titanium white. In terms of granulation, Schmincke is not the most granulating of paints. It's actually quite smooth. Daniel Smith is more granulating, but their cobalt color, they don't dry as well. They will dry really dry, and they have a higher chance of just, you know, detaching from the palette. M. Graham has really beautiful cobalt colors, but it depends on where you live. You might run into issues with the paint if you live in a place that is too humid or too hot. What else? I'm trying to think of the brands that have really nice granulation. Holbein has great paint, but they tend to be more smooth as well. I still have to play a bit more with their cadmium colors though. So yeah, the Terra Rosa, that's a good one. That's a really similar hue. Good point. I think the Terra Rosa and the Cobalt Teal from M. Graham probably mix into a really beautiful neutral with a lot of granulation. Alright, I tried giving this a massage. I will let it sit for a bit. I also have the I'm gonna be ending the live stream soon, but swatching is fun. I have a bunch of these. Oh, Kremer has awesome granulation. Oh my gosh, honestly. My English is slipping away. They are a bit inconsistent in terms of the way their pans dry, which is a bit of an issue at times, but if you want granulating paint, you're in for a treat. They have some really good granulating paints. Have you tried handmade watercolors? Well, I make my own actually. So I've tried those. I've tried those from Amé at Everything Eventually Mixes. Hold on. I've tried a bunch. I've tried Cella Paint Co. I've tried Dan's. It's kind of, it varies in terms of granulation. But as far as the paints go, honestly, I've never been disappointed by a handmade set. There's possibly one of them that rubbed off a bit that I bought, but otherwise... That's the Van Gogh Dusk Pink color. It's basically they came up with the what they call the dusk range, and simply enough, it's Mars Black PBK11. They sell it on its own as well as Oxide Black. Anyway. And they have Dusk Violet, Dusk Green, Dusk Yellow, and Dusk Pink. And they're basically a staining color mixed with this granulating black. And it kind of makes up these effects. So that's fun. Oh, I'm glad you're willing to try them, Anna. I've swatched them at the beginning, but I'm currently drying these 6 colors. I need to make more, but yeah, it's time consuming to make paints, so sometimes I have a bit of a harder time to fit it into my schedule. So I'm quite happy with these pigments. Like I like the paints, but I don't think I would order these again because it's a bit more tricky to work with those. But there's a bunch of things I want to try. I want to try making my own opera color. Because why not? I mean, who else should make an attempt at mixing opera? So there's that. And now I really want to try and play with some of the granulating pigments I have and try and create those two-tone colors a bit. See what I can do. Because I hope that by making the paints myself, I can keep some of the granulation at quite a high level instead of mulling it super soft. The Prush soprano. Can you imagine? Ah, having a a handmade opera. I have fluorescent pigment, and I have PR 122. So I'm gonna try and mix both and see if I can make something happen. I think it should be fun. I also have Mars Black, so I really want to try and come up with these. If you remember, I had a pan that I made early on that was half burnt sienna and half ultramarine blue, so that you could mix your own gray colors with it. I know my set is somewhere on there, but I dropped it the other day and some pans flew out, which was a bit sad. Yep. Yeah, Mars Black is the granulating one. Yeah. Oh my god, Otto, you're killing me. Oh yeah, I just dropped a bunch of plastic bins. Because what else is new? I wonder if I still have a good Prussian blue in there. There are some of my pans that are absolutely ancient. So I never quite know what to expect from them when I swatch them out. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry about the drop. It's a bit like a Tetris level under there, and I nudged some plastic bins down. Yeah, I think this is a very old Prussian blue. Like, there are some issues that come up with handmade colors that you don't really find out about until after you've let a pan dry for months, and it's really stressful. Because I want to put out paints that are, like, perfect, but it's really difficult to do. And sometimes they change a lot, like the binder, the way the binder dries on top of a pan makes it really hard to re-wet at time. I kept named sarcastic primaries just red, blue, and yellow. I think it would kill me to do that. I'm really, really sorry about the noise, guys. I apologize. That was not my intention. So that's the split pan. Oh, it still works quite well, actually. Awesome. I quite love the idea because you can come up with, you know, a different balance of paint on the fly. You can add a bit more blue, you can add a bit more brown if you want it, but you can really come up with a nice variegated effect. Let's see. It's Prussian blue. It's really weird because I think the Prussian green I made sort of dried better, but it's basically the same pigment, so I don't know what's up with that. It's a bit more muted than I would like. It's also a really pain in the butt. Ooh, opera pink that has ultramarine undertones, that would be awesome. It could granulate ultramarine. Oh man, I want to do that. Well, yeah, I don't know, it's not quite what I want it to be. Also, like I was saying, it's a pain in the butt to mold. What's this one? What's this one? What's this one? What's this one? Prussian green is here. If there are other paint makers in the chat that made Prussian blue, did you run into some issues with it? Yeah, that one is a bit more fun to use. Trying to see what else I have. This one. It's really nerve-wracking to sell paints. I always want to include like a 10-foot long disclaimer that if you have any issues on the long term with the paint, contact me. That I am so sorry that I don't know how these dry, and you know, just panic. Panic. It could be the most amazing version of Rose of Ultramarine, I agree. I'll definitely try that. I'm making a couple more swatches because I'm nervous about like how certain colors have dried. Okay, this one is still good. Oh, the stress, so stressful. Oh, well, okay, thank you. If I end up making a opera of ultramarine, I will send you a pan, Anna. I can see that at the end of the disclaimer. Panic. Yeah. It's kind of weird because, like, I know many people will buy handmade paints and they will implicitly understand that these are handmade, so it's not ever gonna be exactly like commercial paints. But some people sometimes inquire about buying paints and you really have this impression that it's gonna be just like buying Daniel Smith. And that's when I get super sweaty and super nervous because I'm like, well, it's never gonna be quite like Daniel Smith because I don't have a machine to make these. I make these by hand, so I really don't know what they're gonna look like in 5 months. And that's really stressful. Well, I'm glad that at least all these have fared better. Like, who knows, perhaps it's the Prussian blue pigment that is a bit problematic in there. Perhaps I need to reconsider my recipe for it. But these are quite good. I feel reassured. I've reassured myself. I need to write down the and I saw the question pass by regarding making a book with cat illustration. I'm all for the idea of it, but it's not super easy to put together, in the sense that I can probably manage with thinking up a story and drawing the illustration. Sorry about the weird sounds, but it's publishing that is problematic and often quite expensive. Okay, so I wrote down Opera of Ultramarine to remember about this. Hopefully that can happen. Like, you never quite know when you start mulling a paint if the pigment is gonna work with you or work against you. Alright, so I think that's gonna be mostly it for today's live stream, unless you guys have any more questions. Some paints really went flying when I dropped this. Like, this one literally popped out of its pan. I think there was another one like this one too, and I wasn't even able to put it back in properly. It's a nightmare, I tell you. Alright, come on. Get in there! Okay. Sorry. Getting ruffled up. There. Whatever. Go in there. A digital book download could work, but I would have to figure out how to make that happen too. I would probably make it possibly a PDF that someone can read on their iPad or a tablet or something. Yeah. Alright, so I want to thank you guys for being here today. It's been pretty awesome. It was a really, really nice stream. I think there were quite a lot of people today, so I'm really thankful that you decided to spend some of your Saturday with me and with all of us in the chat. If you want to keep the discussions going throughout the week, we have a Discord server that is for a discussion about paint, about all sorts of stuff related to paint, about crochet, about knitting, about anything. The link is in the description and it's free to join. You just have to make an account for free and it will guide you through it, and it's really straightforward. Hey Sterling, hi! I'm just about done. And yeah, we have a great time on the Discord server, so if you think that is something you would enjoy being a part of, feel free to join us. Aside from that, I will probably stream again next Saturday. And I would like to say a great big thank you to Otto and Heather for being my awesome moderators again. And a great big thank you to all of you for being here today. And a big thank you to Peko for being cute. So I guess that's it. I hope you have a great weekend, guys, and take care. We will see each other quite soon. Bye! Do you want to say bye? No, you don't. Mom, I'm sleeping, Mom.